This is the mission history for the fourth week of June from Pastor James Wong. Today, we're jumping into the incredible story of a man named Robert Maclay and how his journey would end up unlocking a kingdom. So let's talk about Robert S. Maclay. Now, his name might not be the most famous one you've heard, but his impact, absolutely foundational. Long before Korea was even on his radar, Maclay was already a veteran missionary. We're talking about a true pioneer who had poured his life into his work all across East Asia. And what's just wild here is the sheer amount of time we're talking about. Look at this. He gets to China in 1847 and stays for 25 years, a full quarter century. And he wasn't done. After all that, he takes on a huge leadership role for the Methodist Church over in Japan. So by the time we get to the 1880s, this guy is one of the most experienced Western figures in the entire region. Okay, so he's well established in Japan, but then, things start to change. A few different events, seemingly totally unrelated, start pulling his focus toward a nation that was famously closed off to the rest of the world. The place they called the Hermit Kingdom, Korea. And this part is just amazing. The source material calls it an amazing providence, and you can totally see why. At the very same time one team in Manchuria is translating the Bible into Korean, a completely separate team is doing the exact same thing in Japan. And who's right in the thick of it? Our guy, Robert Maclay, working side by side with a Korean scholar named Yi Soo-jong. It's like the groundwork was being laid from two different places at once without either really knowing about the other. And here's the key. This wasn't just some project for Maclay. It became personal. Meeting Yi Soo-jung, this intellectual from a nation nobody could get into, it just lit a fire in him. He started connecting with other young Korean leaders who were visiting Japan, people like Kim Ok-yoon, and that just laser-focused his mission on finding a way into Korea. So Maclay has this growing personal interest, this passion, and then the story takes this incredible twist. Because the next step wasn't initiated by him. Instead, a very specific, totally unexpected call to action came to him from literally halfway around the world. I mean, really, this was the big question, right? Korea was famous for its isolation. You couldn't just knock on the door and ask to come in. So how on earth did it happen? Well, the answer is in this chain of events that is so unlikely you'd think it was from a movie. Let's just walk through this because it's wild. It all starts on a train in America. A reverend named Gucher just happens to meet a Korean diplomatic mission. He's so inspired by this meeting that he immediately fires off a telegram to his senior colleague in the region, who, of course, is Maclay in Japan. And the request is simple. Can you please go to Korea and just see if a mission is even possible? And Maclay said yes. This is really the climax of the story. You have decades of experience, this deep personal interest, and a chance encounter on a train all coming together in one moment. Maclay takes on the mission and heads straight into the unknown. You're going to want to remember this date, June 24th, 1884. That is the day Robert Maclay officially stepped onto Korean soil. He became the first American Protestant missionary to do so. That door, which had been sealed for so long, had just started to creak open. And he did not waste a single second. In just 2 months, what he accomplished was pretty remarkable. He used his connection with Kim Ok-yoon to get an audience with King Gojong himself and actually got royal permission for mission work. But, and this is important, with a very specific focus, education and medicine. He even helped scout out a location for a future mission base. But Maclay's role, you see, wasn't to stay. It was to open the way for others. His success wasn't the end of the story. It was more like the starting pistol for a race. His next huge job was to find the right people to carry the torch that he had just lit. This is why people call him the hidden pioneer, because you could argue his most important work happened right after he left Korea. He didn't just file a report. No, he personally went all the way to Cleveland, visited the home of the Scranton family, and convinced them that they were the ones to answer this call. He wasn't just an explorer. He was a recruiter. And you can just see the direct cause and effect right here on this timeline. It's so clear. June 1884, Maclay gets permission. By the end of that same year, he's found the key people. By February of 85, they're on a boat. And then on April 5th, 1885, less than a year after Maclay's visit, the first resident missionaries, the Appensellers and the Scrantons, arrive in Korea. His pioneering work had an immediate, world-changing impact. Pastor James Wong, who served as a missionary to China, now serves in Maryland, USA. and is a researcher of Korean mission history. He delivers his weekly message from his book, Remember and Repay, 52 Weeks of Mission Meditation.